Hey everybody, welcome back. Doing things a little bit differently. Probably can spot what's different. So, originally when I started this channel, I had no intention of going on camera. Figured I would just use the movies in my hands until I got bored and stopped doing the videos. I recently had some life updates that it's made me reconsider, obviously, going on camera. So I decided I'll do a few videos, maybe just one video, behind the camera, or in front of the camera, I should say, and see how I feel about it. This may be the only one. Other than that, the format is going to be the usual. A few movies, I tap on them, talk about them, wrap the video up, probably within 15 minutes or so. So with that said, let's get to the usual here. So the movies I have are mostly Blu-rays, actually. So I have 2 Blu-rays and a 4K. Get everything up for the camera here. There we go. See if that turns out to be a thumbnail. Maybe not. Sometimes the generated thumbnails aren't that great. So let's start with Terminator 2. So this is the Blu-ray. I do have this on 4K. I don't like the 4K release. I have it. I love the movie, and I think I got the 4K for like $8. I have watched it once, and long story short, all the grain has been scrubbed from it, so everyone has a very wax-like appearance. It doesn't look like film anymore. The color timing's quite a bit different. Those things don't bother me too much, but yeah, it looks like a film shot recently. Like it looks like Avatar or something along those lines, and I just don't care for it. So this Blu-ray is pretty good. It's probably the best we'll ever get. Maybe there is another version on Blu-ray that's a little bit better picture quality, audio, I'm not entirely sure, but this is the one I have. It does have both the unrated and theatrical cuts. I don't care for the unrated cut. I never watch it. I've watched it once. That was enough for me. I think for the most part, the only extended cut for James Cameron I enjoy would be The Abyss, and that's more of like a traditional director's cut than like an unrated cut. So if you're not familiar with Terminator 2 somehow, let's see what it says in the back here. With its seamless blend of groundbreaking computer graphics, imagery, dazzling live-action stunts, and stunning makeup effects, Terminator 2 Judgment Day shattered the definition of action filmmaking to become one of the most celebrated sequels of all time. In an age of anything is possible digital blockbuster filmmaking, with on-screen action often entirely fabricated and unreal, T2 remains a touchstone for both filmmakers and movie fans on the use of visual effects, fusing high-tech thrills with an emotional and compelling story. Now, see this iconic film as it was meant to be seen in explosive 1080p high definition and DTS HD master audio, and go behind the making of the movie with classic featurettes never before released on Blu-ray. So this Blu-ray came out, I don't know, 2015. It's not that long ago. Well, 10 years ago. I figured it'd be longer. It must have had a Blu-ray like in the late aughts or something. Really can't confirm that. I haven't looked it up. But I can vouch for this one. I think if I were to buy it today, this would be the one I would pick up for sure. I haven't seen any of the special features. Again, that's pretty standard for me. Rarely ever watched them. Overall, as a movie, like I like Terminator more than Terminator 2. But for just, action spectacle, Terminator 2 is like a pretty unrivaled movie. There's some like Hong Kong action movies that are up there. T2 is quite a bit different though. It's a lot more singular in focus with the action, and the stunts are incredible. Like every time I watch this movie, I'm always blown away by the stunt work. Specifically, like the helicopter scenes are just nuts in a very good, enjoyable way. So next we have Whisper of the Heart. Been watching some Ghibli movies lately. Been watching a lot of movies that I have nostalgia for, that I'm very familiar with, and this would be one of them. Though my nostalgia doesn't go back very far, in a sense. I saw this for the first time probably like 15 years ago or something like that. I don't remember watching this one in the late 90s or early aughts or anything like that. And maybe I did, but it's not really something that's ringing a bell. So this is, I think, the only Ghibli movie directed by Yoshifumi Kondo. He passed away in his late 40s, I believe. This is written by Miyazaki, however. And Whisper the Heart inspires like never before in Blu-ray. A new digital master reveals the true brilliance of this heartwarming coming-of-age classic from Studio Ghibli, the studio that brought you Ponyo and the Academy Award-winning Spirited Away. So I'm guessing Ponyo must have recently been in theaters when this came out. Yeah, so 2012. I remember seeing Ponyo in theaters. It must have been around that time. Let's see here. A chance encounter with a mysterious cat sends Shizuku, a quiet schoolgirl, on a quest for her true talent. Challenged by Seiji, a boy determined to follow his dreams, and enchanted by the Baron, a magical cat figurine who helps her listen to the whispers of her heart, Shizuku embarks on curious adventures beyond the boundaries of her imagination. Now in Blu-ray high definition for the first time ever, this beautiful tale based on a screenplay from legendary animator Hayao Miyazaki will delight and amaze families. This kind of has it's a Miyazaki screenplay, as mentioned, from a visual presentation of it. It does remind me a little bit more. It actually kind of reminds me of like a mashup of Miyazaki and Takahata's styles. So if you are really into Grave of the Fireflies or Only Yesterday, some of the Ghibli films that are more grounded in realism, but also like the fantastic elements of Miyazaki's films. I feel like this has a little bit of both. It's certainly more grounded, besides like some scenes near the latter half of the film, probably the last third of the movie, I guess. It's exclusively grounded, like a true coming of age story. I really love the ending to this movie. I read online that's not that's not the consensus. It seems like there's a fair amount of people that don't care for the end of this movie at all. But as someone who was 13, 14, first love, true love, I feel like the ending totally makes sense to me, that mindset, because when I was that age with first girlfriend type things, it's always always what you really think about, not to give away anything with the ending, but it's like, oh, of course they're going to end up together forever. So anyways, this is a really touching movie. Typically, when I watch a Ghibli film, the one I most recently watched ends up being my favorite until I watch the next one. I'm like, oh, that's my favorite one. But Whisper of the Heart's definitely, I would say it's top 5 for me. I haven't given this any real thought, so I don't want to go out and say something crazy like top 3. I would have loved to have seen it in the theater. It had an IMAX release just a couple of weeks ago. But the closest for me would have been about like a 90-plus minute drive, just one way, and it was just playing in the theater. It wasn't playing actually in the IMAX screen there. So I don't know if that's really worth it. Well, actually, I do know I decided it wasn't worth it. I didn't make the drive. So finally we have Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This movie came out in 84, 85, 1985. Loved this movie when I was a kid. It's been a long time since I watched it. And when I was rewatching it, I made me realize just how many times I watched it as a kid, because sometimes I go back and I revisit a movie that I hadn't seen in 10, 20, 30 years. And it's like, even sometimes it's 10 years, sometimes it's 30 years. But it feels like the first time I watched it, like I remember maybe some ideas about the movie or a few scenes here and there, but like that's it. It's a lot of time to go by. So when you say, oh yeah, I've seen this movie, but I saw it back in 1995, it's like, all right, well, technically yes, it's on the list of movies I've seen, but I really haven't seen the movie as an adult. I should put it that way. So this was brought up recently. I was at a Halloween party. It was around Halloween when this party was taking place. And we were playing that game. I don't know the name of the game. You put piece of paper on your forehead, and the piece of paper may say like Pee-wee, and you have to ask questions to identify like who you are. So and the party was people in their mid-20s, so I was certainly the oldest person there, and we were going with originally it was like really broad like horror creatures, or like Jack the Ripper, things like that, and then I was like, oh, let's go a little bit more obscure, like obscure things that that frighten you and things like that. And so my thought originally went to Pee-wee, not Pee-wee, but Pee-wee's Big Adventure, because of Large March. And I remember when I was a kid, like Large March was very frightening, like left a mark, and it was one of the first things that came to mind. But then I thought, with the people that are at this party, but their age range, I'm like, do they know who Large March is? Do they even know who Pee-wee is? So I didn't end up choosing Large March to write down. But after we wrapped the game up, I asked, hey, does anyone know who Large March is? And they're like, well, if I could talk about who's Large March. Even my wife didn't even know who Large March happened to be, and I realized that she hadn't seen this movie. So this was a first-time watch for her just recently, a couple weeks ago, whenever we watched it. And she really loved it. I find it hard that I can't imagine anyone not really liking this movie, or at least being entertained by it. She couldn't quite put her finger on Pee-wee. That makes sense to me. Hard guy to pin down. But the movie was absolutely, at least it held up for me. Like sometimes you go back and watch a movie from your childhood, and you're like, oh, geez, I don't really know, I'm not really feeling this. But this movie was really firing all cylinders for me. I was really surprised by how well I remembered the movie, and Large March did not disappoint. So that was really exciting to see that as an adult. Anyways, so yeah, really happy with this movie. It looked great. It has the original 2.0 DTS HD master audio as well. It sounded amazing. So definitely can recommend Pee-wee's Big Adventure on 4K. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching.